Welcome to the Inside Integration Podcast. My name is Chris, and today is a bit of a special episode. We've had a few of these in a row here. We've got Jayson, my very own co-host, and Russell from Sony joining us from the front seat of a car that they're traveling in together. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, Chris? What's going on, everybody? Yeah, we haven't seen any elks yet so far today, so I haven't been able to high five an elk yet on this trip, but we still have a couple of days, so there's still time. There is time.
Yeah,
as long as he gets me to my destination safely here, Chris, that's the most important part. So.
I mean, it's true, and I really I'm kind of sad that I'm not like in the back seat with you guys, just a buddy road trip. But I guess I don't rank yet. I think I need to work for Sony for some amount of time to kind of fit in with the cool kids club, I guess.
Well, we can work that out for you. I think later this week, just based on our travel schedule. I'm not going to give away all of our cards, but we know that you'll be up here and be able to pal around with us in a couple of days based on the event that we're doing here this week. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that would be the definitive Sony Bravia 8 and Bravia 9 projector unveiling, right?
That's the one. Yep.
So yeah. Look at that segue. Look at that.
Yeah, later this week, we exactly. Yeah, we got some dealer meetings lined up. We're going to go have some great meetings here, and then we've got the projector event. We just announced 2 new projectors, which I'm sure we'll talk about here. So. Pretty exciting news.
Yeah, and this is just for those who haven't seen our flurry of activity and all the news that's coming out of CEDIA and everything else. This is the Bravia 8 and Bravia 9 Sony projectors, brand new, released at CEDIA, and now we're trying to tell the world about them as best as we can.
Yeah. So just to dovetail into that, it's always exciting when Sony brings out a new product. That they put a big fanfare behind it. I think the Bravia 8 and Bravia 9 projectors, if you were in Denver for CEDIA, when you walked through the doors, I'm pretty sure it was probably one of the first 3 products that you laid your eyes on when you walked through the front door of the convention center.
Yeah, I was right there front and center. I mean, we had the 2 models static, displayed right in the front of our booth. And then we had 2 incredible demos. So for all the dealers that came by and came out of the show this year, I heard countless times. I'm always asking these guys, what was your favorite demo? What was your favorite demo? And everyone absolutely loved the Bravia 9 projector demos that we had going.
It was definitely, and that's something that a lot of people took away from the show is like how many Sony demos were actually going on. I think there were 5 of them if you count the one that was like in the entryway to the Colorado Convention Center.
Yeah, that was wild. This year we did something a little different. It was kind of cool to build our traveling theater. For those of you who visited some of the road shows, we built a theater in the lobby of the convention center. So right where that blue bear is peeking through the windows, that's right where the ES theater was, and we had the Bravia Projector 8, paired with a 120-inch screen, our 7,000 ES receiver, and it was great. We had some local speakers set up in there, and the demos were rolling with that. So
yeah, and
what would you say is sorry, Chris? What would you say is the biggest improvement of the new projector models over the ones that they're replacing? I mean, I've heard some feedback. It doesn't look like a lot on paper. It's only a couple hundred lumens of brightness. Can you tell us a little bit about like what makes the new projectors so great?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, on paper, if you're just looking at it, you're like, okay, it got a little bit brighter. What's really happening here? So one of the things, major improvement is new HDMI chipsets or new HDMI ports. So now they're HDMI 2.1 compatible, 4K 120. With ALLM capabilities. So for all the gamers out there that want to hook their PlayStation 5 up and they want to experience gaming like they've never experienced before on a large screen, they can do that now. And here's the big thing that's super cool. So early tests are showing that we're seeing like a 12 millisecond lag time at 4K 120, which is completely unheard of. So that's just one thing. The major improvement that we've made this year is in the process. So the same award-winning processor, the XR processor that you see in the E95L, or the Bravia 9 mini LED TVs. Both of those TVs, they won King of TVs last year. Going forward for 2024, that same processor is being used in the Bravia Projector 8 and the Bravia Projector 9. So leaps and bounds improvements.
Yeah, and that kind of brings us to the other projection demo that was there. That was the one that was on the floor that Russell you were kind of running all day. But that really sort of put a point on exactly what you're saying, right? Like on a spec sheet, it doesn't look like a huge improvement, right? Like, yeah, we bumped up the brightness and whatever, but I mean, the processing is something that you can't put that on a spreadsheet, right? Like there's no stat that's going to measure that or whatever. And the best demo that I saw probably in the whole show was literally going from the previous generation projector to the new generation projector and the stark difference between it, right? And seeing, okay, this image looks great. Let's switch to the new one. And it's like, wow, okay, that looks absolutely amazing. There's no banding. Everything is processing faster. All these processing changes, they don't really reflect on a spec sheet. They really respect when you see these things, right with your own eye.
Oh yeah, it's something you have to see. And it's funny, I heard from one of our reviewers out there. He came to me after the demo, and he's like, now I got to upgrade my XW6000 to the new model, because he's like, what you just showed me blew me away. And so getting to that, so it's processing power, but the most important part is, as we see content, all these new movies and new TV shows come out, the content creators and the directors, they're all wanting to move to HDR, right? They're wanting scenes with high brightness,
right,
with great color. And if you're limited by your processor, you can't do the proper what's called tone mapping. But now we have so much more processing power that we can do tone mapping frame by frame. We call it XR dynamic tone mapping. And that's, Chris, to your point, that's what leads to, perfect gradations in color. You see exactly what the creator intended us to see in these movies that are coming.
Right. And again, that's important to remember. Sony's the only one that has, this chipset, right? Like the X1 is a Sony thing, and there's nobody who really matches it. Sure, there's brightness comparisons to be made and everything else, but I mean, picture quality wise, yeah, these things look amazing.
Yeah. So on top of that, you've got the XR processor that lands in the new projectors. You've got, improved functionality. You've got gaming. But there was another demo that we were looking at on the other side of the booth with the CLED and the wisdom system. Like, can you give us maybe a little bit of a sneak peek on where Sony's headed with QLED? Well, or maybe just tell us all the details. Maybe not a sneak peek. Give us the dirt, man.
Yeah. So one of the things, projectors are amazing, right? You can go big. It's scalable, but projectors are limited to brightness, right? And they can only go so big. Well, if we take a look at the picture quality you expect on the flat panel, and you're able to scale that now we're talking our CLED product, which Jayson just mentioned. So on the show floor, we had 137-inch CH series, which is our contrast series. What's awesome about this type of direct view display is not only is it completely modular, so you can build it as large as you need. So if you wanted a type screen, I mean, ultimately you can make that happen. But more importantly, it's 1,300 nits of bright. Some of the demos that we were showing, there was like scenes where you had these light flashes during Mad Max in one of the demos, and it was so insanely bright. You're almost having to squint just due to that impact. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's CLED technology and these huge displays. I mean, it's really, we've talked about it a couple times on previous episodes of the show, but it seems like that's the direction that we're all kind of going into. And the two forks of Sony's approach, right? Projection and, large format. I mean, that's great. Cover all the bases and all this other stuff. I did want to throw out there that essentially, Russell, Jayson has you hostage right now in the car. So when he asks for a sneak peek,
I have to answer every question.
I'm boiling his feet right now just to get the answers that I want.
He's got the heat turned up in the car. He turned off the AC.
Yeah, it's like Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny in here. We got Bugs Bunny in the pot. We're trying to coerce them and poke them into giving us the answers that we want. But, little different format for today, but it's kind of fun. It's it's a road trip with Russell and Jayson, and call into Chris and catch up with everybody.
First time, long time, right? You gotta call in
Right,
like you're talking to Francesa. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, your morning zoo DJ du jour.
Real quick, Chris, on the C, yeah, you're fine. No, on the CLED, here's the thing with direct view displays, right? If you were on the show floor, we weren't the only company out there, right, that was showing it. In fact, there's a lot more companies kind of popping up, and everyone's got kind of their own technology and what they're doing with direct view.
Sure.
But there's no other company in the industry that operates on both sides of the camera like Sony does, right? So from content creation, we had our Sony. I know, Chris, you're a camera fan, so you probably were taking pictures of the Venice.
Yes.
The Venice camera we had set up. But our CLED technology comes from our virtual production capabilities, and because we're so good at making movies and building these sets, our products used on a lot of our popular shows that people are watching when the content's being created. So we know what it should look like when it's delivered to your home, and nobody does it better than Sony. So,
and that's, I mean, you hit on another trend where people are probably familiar with VFX and that kind of thing, where it's a green screen or it's a guy covered with ping pong balls and all this other stuff. Well, the trend in Hollywood seems to be, and Russell, you can correct me if I'm going down the wrong path here, but basically the trend is, as these huge displays become more affordable, to basically build the set with these giant displays. That way you don't have to add these things in chroma cam, after the fact, right? You don't have to have a green screen. You don't have to have all this stuff. You just build this huge surrounding and encompassing set, and you can put, a battlefield on the screen, and the actors are literally in it. It's filming that, and it's less visual effects later.
Yeah, it's happening in real time. You almost wonder if there was actors that only were in front of a green screen previously. If you put them in front of a new virtual set with the giant CLED behind them, their acting's going to get better because they're able to see the surroundings. They don't have to just picture, what's explosions going off in the background and stuff. It's all real time.
Yeah, they're not right. They're not taking some cues where, hey, the explosion is roughly in this area, so we need you to jump away from this. It's like, nope, it's right there.
Yeah, I need you to look at this tennis ball. Imagine it's a dragon. Just stare at this tennis ball. It's amazing.
Right. And it's getting better. It's basically, it's speeding up the process of, instead of having to, compost stuffs in and spend all this time doing visual effects, like you can have great effects for a movie or a series, a TV series that's coming out. Like, what was the one Sony did? Fallout. I mean, right? Russell, that was Sony. Fallout is Sony, right? Or sorry.
Amazon was a Sony production.
Yeah, it was Sony, right? And so all of the effects in that show. I mean, to be able to put that stuff together for a 10-part series or a 6-part series or whatever it is, it makes it it makes that content a lot easier to get out there, which is pretty slick. But has nothing to do with custom integration whatsoever. Just forgive the nerd road I went down, but it's a valid point, right?
No, that's cool. It is. We saw a lot at CEDIA, right? I mean, we saw new projectors. We saw obviously the CLED stuff, which isn't really new, but it's still kind of a developing thing. The Bravia 9 demo, we got to give everybody the blues with the blue light, which was pretty exciting to be able to bring that to the masses.
I just imagine that demo is a lot like the movie The Ring, where we've now done this in like every roadshow across the country, right? And everybody's got blue spots on their vision permanently, and we just now we did it at CEDIA, and now everybody in the industry is just
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, and everyone's wanting to be part of the blue band.
They've all been programmed. One of the pieces of the booth that I don't think. I mean, I know that it got a lot of traffic because I certainly brought some people through there. Was the pro display portion of the booth? Obviously, Sony's a huge component of the professional production space. We saw the new 98-inch. The BZ53, which for those of you that have been watching since we started doing these little videos and stuff all the way back in February, was the TV that we were not allowed to film when we were there in February. So there's a little callback for everybody that if you haven't seen our little video about that, go check out our YouTube page and check out the CLED preview and the Sony Pro Roadshow video that we shot. But it was nice to be able to see that firsthand. But can you maybe articulate what the benefits are to CI integrators for Spec and Sony Pro?
Absolutely, yeah. So just staying on the BC53L. So one of the major advancements that we made this year on that 98-inch display is we applied our deep black coating to it. And it's not just like a matte finish, because with other manufacturers out there that have kind of a matte finish, what tends to happen is you dull your contrast. You actually make the image quality worse by trying to get rid of glare. And what we do it a little bit differently. Instead of just a matte finish, the coating is so unique in the fact that it's rejecting light at certain angles. So we don't degrade the contrast, but we get rid of all the glare. So for you as a custom integrator, what that means is you've got a living room with this gorgeous view, and you've got all the sunlight coming in, and you've got all this ambient light in space. Your customers can now watch the football game or watch content during the day without getting all that reflection and glare that they would normally see on that television. The other advantage too is it's a little bit higher dollar cost, right? So it carries a heftier price tag, right? You're looking at a more expensive television, but it's not available to the masses. So you're not going to find this type of TV and this type of technology in a lot of the big box retailers. It's definitely more CI focused.
To top it all off, I'm going to steal Russell's thunder here. Another big advantage for selling Pro stuff is the included enhanced warranties that go. So for the 53 or the BZ40s, a TV with a 5-year warranty included in the price is really the big value message. If you don't need an off-air antenna and the form factor works, technology works, I think the Pro panels are a strong option and alternative for CI integrators that want to make as much money as they can and offer the best value and warranty in the business on the products they sell.
Couldn't agree more. And 24/7 operation too is what they're rated at. So, a customer leaves this on all day, you don't have to worry about it because it's you're covered in addition to the 24/7. Obviously, it's Jayson, but 5-year warranty. So it's incredible.
I can tell you that a lot of custom integrators don't really think about Pro displays, right? Like this is definitely a it maybe expanding some minds here to think that I can totally do Sony Pro. It's not, the barrier entry is like nothing. I can charge more for the television. You get a better warranty. It's got upgraded endurance statistics on it, and a lot of guys just don't even think about it. It's like, okay, yeah, Sony TV, let me see what this one is here, or God forbid the client provides their own or something like that. This is definitely an avenue to sell a better TV, and with a with a bit of a warranty and make a little bit more money on it. It's kind of a no-brainer.
Yep, totally agree.
I think it kind of shows the value message for everybody all the way around, frankly. As you illustrated already, TV costs a little bit more, so there's some built-in margin play, but for that extra money, the client's not like, oh, cool, I bought a 98-inch TV and it's only got a 1-year warranty on it. What if this thing breaks in 2 years? Sony's have a pretty reliable history, pretty robust all the way around, but there's always a weird apple in every bunch, right? So there could be an issue along the way. It's so much nicer to just know, hey, I don't have to worry about this. TV's completely covered from soup to nuts, and if the thing goes sideways in 3 years, I'm still protected. I didn't just write you a check for $10,000 or $12,000 to have it be basically something that's a struggle to get service on or repair.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. To kind of CYA, right? Like cover your butt on that and make some more money doing it.
For everybody. Yeah, I mean literally for everybody, integrators, customers. It's a win-win, I think, for both sides.
So, and we talked, I think, we talked about this a lot last year after CEDIA. We've talked about this a little bit after the road shows. Russell, I think you were on like episode number 2. And we are 33 episodes later or whatever else. Sony.
Hey, congrats guys, that's awesome.
Yeah, 35 episodes.
We talk to each other Talk to each other for a day and a half now. My
Yeah,
God.
there you go. We're really just pushing this as far as we possibly can because I kind of want to see what the number is before I get fired, right? Like, let's see,
Wow.
can we make it? You know, what is the high water mark on that? But no, the thing I wanted to kind of pick your brain about a little bit is, Sony is one of the, if not the only manufacturer who has like CI mode, right? So special menu, made for integrators. You can do all these things. There's a lot of these integrator focused features, like I just said, CI mode, and the different monitoring stuff you could do. You can connect your television to oversee and keep tabs on it remotely. You can connect it to Domots and do the same thing and kind of do that. I mean, why are those things important to Sony? I guess is what I'm asking. And I know your answer is going to be because we care about custom integrators, but so why do you care about us nerds? I guess is what I'm asking.
At the end of the day, we want to look out for our dealers, right? I mean, we're building products that we want to make sure are consistent, are reliable, and are CI focused. So you mentioned like oversee, having the ability to not only plug into like TV, but you can pretty much every product in the lineup, right? Our ES receivers.
Sure.
Not that I'm saying for the installers to program an entire receiver from scratch. Of course, you're going to be on site, but having that level of control, not just basic functionality of power sources and stuff. You can literally set up a whole receiver remotely through oversee with so. Yes, projectors too. I mean, you've got the ability to get in and look at how many hours are on the lamp. Just kind of check how the system is operating, right? Making sure it's running smoothly for the customers. I mean, the last thing we want to do. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to make an amazing product, but we also want to make sure that our dealers aren't rolling the truck to fix something later on. We want to make sure it's reliable, that it's consistent,
Right.
and most importantly, that it's profitable for our dealers. And profit is built into the product, but it's also built into the life of the product too, right? It's got to maintain that.
Sure.
That's important for us.
Well, and making service easier is something that's very appealing to a lot of custom integrators, right? So now we've got a lot of custom integrators who are taking advantage and selling service plans and that kind of thing. And a lot of those service plans, they include monitoring and being able to know how many hours are on the lamp of a projector or how many service hours it's been, or whether the temperature is spiking at a certain time of the day with use and that kind of thing. I mean, that makes an integrator a lot more efficient within that service plan that they've sold them. And it's worth mentioning, nobody else has this, right? Like, you're not going to find this in Samsung, you're not going to find this in LG, you're not going to find this in TCL or whatever the South Korean flavor of the month there is. It's unique to Sony, which is weird for me because Sony is such a massive company and they're the only ones who are sort of focused on integrators, which again is cool.
Yeah, they're our partners. And so as big as Sony is, that's Kathleen Thomas's job, that's Jeff Goldstein's job. We need to make it feel like a small company for our dealers and be a partner in their business. Whether it's through some marketing programs that we have for the dealers that we're trying to get these guys taken advantage of, or it's building an extra margin, creating special programs, but also just making sure the products are reliable at the end of the day too. So.
A dedicated website, SonyPremiumHome.com.
Yeah,
that's no small investment.
Yeah.
That there's a ton of stuff. I wanted to kind of dovetail too, not to steal your thunder, but wanted to throw in there that I think Sony's kind of associated and always, I think their goal has always been to be associated with a premium product, and having these levels of functionality and having these menus and having this capability, I think really cements that statement. Like, yeah, not only do we build great stuff that looks awesome, but we include tools to make sure that it's easy to live with this stuff. There's no point in having the highest technology thing that nobody can figure out how to operate or how to maximize the use of. Sony's kind of, I think, done a really great job of walking both sides of the street there. Hey, it's super easy to live with, and oh yeah, by the way, it's class leading in performance.
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody knows Sony, right? If you put in a Sony TV and a line item in a proposal, there's going to be, a client's going to see that and be like, yeah, Sony, okay, no problem. We can, we can move forward with this. It's recognizable, even without teaching them about all the awesome stuff on the back end that Sony does, right? Like that gets your foot in the door right out of the gate. So where?
I mean,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Chris.
So we made a joke, before he came online that you guys were going to pull over onto the side of the road and teach, maybe some of the residents of some of the underpasses in the Seattle area about it. Whereabouts are you fellas?
So we are on our way down to visit our partners at Desco AV in Olympia, Washington.
Nice.
So we are in the capital city of the state of Washington, which when you actually get here, you realize that, that's pretty much the only thing that's going on in the city of Olympia. There is a college element to town here, and there is sort of the bottom of the Puget Sound sort of port city vibe happening, but it's pretty low key. It's definitely a lot more government and abandoned Olympia beer brewery stuff going on down here, which is kind of par for the course. I think Washington is kind of always as a state in a state of entropy. Like we're sort of on our way from order to disorder, and things being rejuvenated and reclaimed. And again, Olympia sort of is the postcard, I would say, for what that process looks like.
Feel free to leave your pro or anti-Washington comments on this video. Again, bring the hate.
Hit us up on the gram, at inside_integration. We've got a couple of pictures up there. I think there might even be a picture of Mr. Warnhoff and our good friend Mr. Sean Sorensen as one of the photos on there. Two friends of the pod. So we want to make sure that we're hyping them and broadcasting out all the good stuff we're up to, and certainly the good people.
Yep, absolutely.
One thing I want to add too, it's always it's so green and just beautiful every time we come out here to Washington. Not that Colorado isn't beautiful, but
yeah, Russ, you live in Colorado, Chief.
These trees are massive. I mean, we're just driving through Olympia here, like Jayson was saying, and looking at the size of these trees. Holy cow, these things are like 200 feet tall.
You haven't been in my yard yet, dude. You'll see some trees. We got some timber growing up here in the Pacific Northwest. That's for sure.
I got a feeling that we're probably about 5 minutes away from somebody saying this map is heavy because of all the roads in it, and then just roads, and saying it enough times. So sounds like you guys are having a blast.
We're out here having some fun. We're gonna go see a baseball game tonight. So I'm gonna go watch the Yankees hopefully get beaten by the Mariners. But
here's hoping.
It's a pretty tall order. I know that you're personally invested in that outcome, not because you love the Mariners so much, but because you dislike the Yankees so much.
Yes, that's exactly correct, sir.
I'll take those cheers by proxy if that's all I get. Hoping to see our boys at least in the wild card race, but love to see them actually get into the show in the postseason just by virtue of the fact that they won first place. But here we are in baseball talk. Every podcast evolves into stats and who's your team.
I mean, it does. It sounds like a sports call-in show, right? You guys are on the road. We're just trying to live up to that. But so let's to recap here. We're coming up on 30 minutes, and essentially, what are we plugging here? We want to make sure people know about the so the definitive event is coming up. That's something, man. That's happening
Thursday night.
Yep, Thursday night at
it's real soon. So if you listen to this podcast on Thursday morning, make sure you're in Bellevue by 1 p.m. or 3 p.m. on Thursday afternoon to come and actually see the Bravia 9 in the flesh. I think this is actually the first time that projector is going to be shown
outside of CEDIA
to the mass
unveiling.
Public.
There you go.
So kind of a big deal, and I believe yours truly that's on the phone with us right now is going to be there to document the whole thing and bring it to everybody. So I'm actually really excited about that opportunity.
Yeah, it's
getting a chance to get these out there. Like Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, it's quite all right, sir. Please continue.
No, I was just going to say, it's exciting. These aren't even shipping yet. We're doing an event here. We're looking at, in terms of shipping, late October, early November, in terms of time frame for these 2 brand new models. To be able to do an event with, our partners at Definitive, that have supported us for years, and to really showcase, the power of projection, with these 2 brand new models is going to be an experience. So definitely don't miss it if you're out in Washington.
Yeah.
And if you do miss it, we're making a video about it, so we'll be able to bring it to you if you can.
That's the idea. That's the whole premise of me flying all the way up there on Thursday and flying all the way back on Friday. So it'll be great. That's awesome. And I want to make sure that we mention also the Josh AI training that we have in the Pacific Northwest on October 1st in Beaverton, right, Jayson? Do I have that right? Oh, I got it wrong. Okay.
October 1st, October 1st in Bellevue, and then October 3rd in Beaverton. We've done a mass mailer. We've sent out a bunch of links. We've reposted it on LinkedIn. I know we're getting signups. So if you would like to attend, learn more about Josh, how to integrate Josh into your workflow. Maybe you're mad at another control system out there and you'd like to look at what your alternatives are. I wouldn't know what control system that would be. And spite is a powerful motivator.
Sure
so
is.
I would encourage you guys to be very spiteful. Get in your car, come out and hang out with us. Again, register to attend for your guaranteed seat at the Josh AI trainings. But I think they're going to be really well attended based on the initial responses that I've gotten so far. We've got teams that are sending multiple people.
Yep.
So I have a strong suspicion that those are going to be well attended. Well, and we should be doing even better with Josh.
It's a certification event, right? So you can go and you can literally be certified and turn yourself loose on installing.
You're gonna leave there having passed the test and being ready to, deploy Josh, whether as an adjunct to your additional control system for a voice gateway, or I think really where this company's headed is as a full-on control system.
Yep.
We talked about that at length, but this is obviously more of a Sony cast, but we're highlighting all the fun things we've got going on.
Yeah,
Come out this is Josh AI.
This is the part of our show where we talk what's coming up, and that's Josh is one of those things. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention at the end of October we are doing Lucetta events at Topgolf. On the 28th, it's in the Bay Area in San Jose, and the 29th, it's in Portland, in Beaverton, and on the 30th, it's up near Seattle, near Renton. So 3 Topgolf events with Lucetta CI. It's some training and a lot of golfing. And it's a perfect event to bring your trade partners to, your builders, your lighting designers, your specifiers, all of these folks. If you want to show them a good time for nothing out of pocket, we are more than happy to host them.
Yeah, what a great way to engage, right? What a great way to build some camaraderie with your partners out there with a free bar tab and some free food and free golf. Yep. To really sort of tear down some of those barriers and get everybody connected. It's pretty cool.
Yep, pretty cool. And we're I don't know if we could swing inviting Russell to it, but Russell, you're certainly obviously invited no matter what. But
I need to work on my golf game for sure.
I mean, Topgolf is the place to do it, right? If you can if you could put down a 6-pack and hit it off, still hit it off the tee, you're in good shape, sir. But check Oliver Marketing's events pages for all the information. Check out our socials. We post this stuff as we get it in, and I think we've subjected our audience to enough of travel talk. What do you think?
There's always more. I did want to mention one thing real quick, Chris.
Yeah,
we were talking CLED earlier, and it's not every day that you're able to get your customers in front of multiple 6-figure wall systems, right? But we're going around the country and we're trying to get some showrooms going that are open to the dealers. We've got one down in Florida right now, and this is an open invitation. Please reach out to Jayson or anyone at Oliver. And if you're in the Pacific Northwest, you want to get down to get in front of one of these, bring your customer. We've got a showroom with Cinematech and Wisdom Audio down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That was just completed. And giant, C-LED. It's almost 200 inches
Hmm.
paired with a pretty kick-ass sound system. So, yeah, that's an open invitation to anyone who wants to see that.
Yeah.
For the kind of client that's going to be buying a CLED system, probably transiting them to Florida makes sense, right? You could pay for that out of pocket and get your partners down to see that stuff firsthand. It's going to pay for all of that and then some when you close the deal on one. So.
Yeah, and that is definitely speaking from experience as an integrator who's sold many of these wall systems. Bringing someone to a place who's about to spend as much money as they would on like a McLaren, that is a pro move, and that usually helps you seal the deal. So the fact that Sony's in a place in Florida with wisdom and other super high end lines where a client can see it in a situation that would be similar to their own home, that's key. So. All right. So with that, we're gonna sign off, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Guys. Hey, we got there safely.
We did.
Oh, you arrived at your destination. Perfect.
One piece.
All right.